Every weekday morning, long before the city's rush hour reached its peak, the small cafe on Maple Street welcomed the same familiar faces. The smell of freshly brewed coffee mixed with the scent of warm pastries as sunlight poured through the large front windows, giving the cozy place a peaceful glow. Office workers hurried in for their morning caffeine, students claimed quiet corners with laptops, and retirees gathered near the windows to chat over breakfast. It was an ordinary cafe where ordinary people began their day, and most customers rarely paid attention to anyone outside their own conversations. Among those regular customers was a man named Daniel Carter. Daniel was 38 years old and the kind of person people noticed only after spending enough time around him. He never tried to attract attention. He dressed neatly, but his clothes clearly weren't expensive. His faded blue jacket had been repaired several times, his shoes showed signs of years of careful use, and the backpack he carried every day had a zipper that had been stitched back together by hand. Nothing about his appearance suggested wealth or success. To most people, he looked like another hard-working father trying to make ends meet. Yet there was something quietly remarkable about him. Every morning at exactly 7:15, Daniel walked into the cafe holding the hand of his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Before taking her to school, they always shared breakfast together. It had become their little tradition after Daniel's wife passed away 3 years earlier. No matter how difficult life became, he refused to let mornings feel rushed or stressful for Lily. Those 45 minutes in the cafe were their special time together, a chance to laugh, study, and prepare for the day ahead. The staff knew them well. As soon as Daniel stepped inside, the barista smiled warmly. "Good morning, Daniel. The usual?" Daniel smiled back. "Yes, please. 1 small black coffee for me, and 1 hot chocolate for Lily." The barista already knew exactly how Lily liked it, extra marshmallows and just enough whipped cream to make her smile. Lily thanked the barista every single morning. "Thank you so much." Her polite manners always brightened the employees' day. After receiving their drinks, Daniel and Lily settled into the same corner table near the window. Daniel opened his old laptop while Lily spread out her school books. They reviewed spelling words, practiced multiplication problems, or read short stories together before school started. Daniel never looked distracted, even when work emails filled his screen. Whenever Lily asked a question, he closed the laptop without hesitation and gave her his full attention. "You come first," he often reminded her. To Daniel, success meant much more than earning money. It meant raising a daughter who felt loved, safe, and confident. Life hadn't been easy. After losing his wife, Daniel had been forced to juggle parenting, work, household responsibilities, and endless bills. There were nights when he stayed awake until 2 in the morning, completing freelance projects just to keep food on the table. There were months when every dollar mattered, and replacing worn-out clothes had to wait because Lily needed new school supplies instead. But Daniel never complained. He believed children should never carry the weight of adult worries. Whenever Lily apologized for asking for something she needed, Daniel always answered the same way. "You never have to apologize for growing." She would smile, and somehow that single sentence made every sacrifice feel worthwhile. Around the cafe, people occasionally noticed the father and daughter, but few ever learned their story. Some assumed Daniel worked remotely because he spent so much time on his aging laptop. Others guessed he was unemployed because his clothes looked inexpensive. A few even pitied him without ever speaking to him. Daniel didn't mind. He had learned long ago that strangers often judged appearances more quickly than character. What mattered was that Lily never doubted how much she was loved. That particular Tuesday morning seemed no different from any other. Rain had fallen overnight, leaving the sidewalks damp and the air cool. Inside the cafe, soft jazz played through hidden speakers while customers quietly sipped their coffee. Lily carefully solved math problems in her notebook, occasionally looking toward her father for help. "Dad," she whispered, "what's 7 times 8 again?" Daniel smiled. "I could tell you." She waited. Or, he grinned, "You could figure it out." "Yourself," Lily giggled. "You always say that. And you're usually smarter than you think." She counted carefully before her face brightened. 56. Daniel smiled proudly. "I knew you'd get it." Across the cafe, a few customers couldn't help smiling at the exchange. their relationship carried a warmth that didn't need grand gestures. It lived in small conversations, patient encouragement, and quiet moments that many people overlooked. Daniel checked the time. "We've got 25 minutes before school." Lily nodded happily and continued writing. Meanwhile, another customer entered the cafe without drawing much attention. He wore an elegant charcoal suit tailored perfectly to his frame. His polished shoes reflected the morning light, and his expensive watch peeked out from beneath his sleeve. Although few customers recognized him immediately, he was one of the most successful businessmen in the country. His name was Richard Harrison. As the founder and CEO of one of the nation's fastest-growing technology companies, Richard managed thousands of employees and oversaw billion-dollar projects. Yet despite his immense success, he occasionally escaped corporate meetings and luxury offices to spend quiet mornings in ordinary places like this cafe. His assistant often questioned the habit. "Sir, why not meet executives somewhere more private?" Richard always gave the same answer. "In boardrooms, everyone performs," he smiled. "In cafes, people reveal who they really are." This morning was no exception. He ordered a simple black coffee instead of anything extravagant and chose a seat where he could quietly observe the room without attracting attention. His eyes naturally wandered across the customers. Business. Professionals checking presentations, college. Students preparing assignments, parents. Rushing children toward school. Retired couples enjoying conversation. Then his attention settled briefly on Daniel and Lily. Nothing dramatic caught his eye, just a father patiently helping his daughter solve homework before school. Richard watched Daniel encourage Lily rather than simply giving her answers. He noticed how Daniel listened carefully every time she spoke, never interrupting or appearing impatient despite obvious work responsibilities waiting on his laptop. It reminded Richard of something, his own father. Years ago, before Richard became wealthy, his father had taught him that character appeared most clearly in ordinary moments, not extraordinary achievements. Anyone could appear impressive during success. Very few remained kind during hardship. Richard quietly took a sip of coffee. Something about Daniel's calm presence stood out, not because he looked successful, not because he demanded attention, but because genuine patience had become surprisingly rare. As Daniel continued helping Lily prepare for school, he had no idea someone across the cafe was silently observing him. He certainly had no idea that within the next few minutes, a single unexpected moment would completely change the course of his life. Outside, a luxury sports car pulled up beside the cafe. Its engine roared briefly before falling silent. Several people near the windows glanced outside. 3 sharply dressed young men climbed out, laughing loudly as they walked toward the entrance. The peaceful atmosphere inside the cafe was about to change. Neither Daniel nor Lily noticed them approaching. They were too busy solving one final math question together, enjoying what they believed would be another quiet morning before school. Sometimes, the biggest turning points in life begin on the most ordinary days, when no one expects that a simple breakfast, a cup of coffee, and one decision can reveal the true strength hidden inside an ordinary person.